navigation that you can use with React Native. But if you are a beginner, hello everyone, welcome back to Code with Beto. I'm super excited to be here back again with you guys with another video. And in this video, this is going to be a huge video. You're going to learn a lot. We are going to be learning about React navigation. And here we have a demo of what we're going to be doing. So before we start, and actually I show you the demo, I was going to say that you may be thinking about learning, if you're a beginner, you may be thinking about learning Export Router, which is another kind of navigation that you can use with React Native. But if you are a beginner, I would recommend 100% that you learn first React navigation and then you jump to React Router. And for those who don't know what is React Router, I'm going to show you in a moment. But yeah, the idea is that React Router, it's a file-based navigation system that you can use with React Native as well. It's brand new, Expo is developing it. But yeah, it's built on top of React navigation, and React navigation is what we're going to be learning in this crash course. So let's see the demo. Here we have a copy of Twitter that I built. I took some components and dummy data from one open source project from Shopify. And yeah, this is basically what we're going to be doing. It's just a list of tweets, but we are going to be interacting with navigation. We are going to learn how to create bottom tabs, which is these tabs that we have at the bottom of the application. We're also going to learn how to open this driver or how to integrate this driver into our applications. And as you can see, this is going to work on dark mode, light mode, and we're going to learn as well how to navigate using top tabs. These are top tabs. And of course, all this is dummy data. And as you can see, we can from here open the driver, for example, and change the screen, go back, for example, open it, change screen, open the driver, go to feed. And of course, you can change the content of these screens. This is just a demo. We are going to learn as well how to create our own style for the navigation. And finally, what I wanted to show you here is that we are going to learn as well how to use stacks. For example, here when I select the tweet, and let's change this to be light mode, you're going to see that it changes automatically, which is pretty amazing. And it's super easy to build using the themes that comes with React navigation, so you don't have to use your own colors if you don't want. Of course, you can extend this functionality and use your own colors. But yeah, this is a stack. We're going to learn that as well. And this is going to work on Android as well. So we can select a tweet. We're going to learn how to pass properties to screens, because when we navigate from this feed screen to the tweet detail screen, we are sending the tweet that we are selecting, and we are going to learn how to do that as well. Okay. And one amazing thing that blows my mind is that when we're using Expo, we can actually compile this or just run this on web, and it's going to work. Here we have the website. It's running on the local host 19006, but it's basically the same. And as you can see, everything works the exact same way. We can open the driver tab and just navigate here. We can select one of these, and we are going to navigate to this stack screen, which is really amazing. If we just size this to be like a device size, it's going to look the exact same way, which is pretty amazing. And well, guys, this is basically what we're going to be learning how to do in this crash course. If that's something that interests you, stick till the end. And before we start, if you want to download this project and play around with it, you can go to codewithbeto.dev and project. You're going to find this project here as soon as I release this video. I'm going to put it here. Of course, you cannot see it now. But yeah, you can see every project that we create in this YouTube channel here. So go to codewithbeto.dev and check out the projects, play with them. If you are a beginner, it's going to help you a lot. You have many examples here completely for free. But if you want to take your knowledge to the next level, check out the React Native course. In this course, we learn how to create an application that is already on the App Stores. You can check it out, download it from App Store or Google Play, and check it out yourself. And as well, not only we're going to see navigation in this course in more detail, but we learn how to use styles, components, performance, state management, notifications, working with APIs, Firebase, AWS, Amplify, and we, of course, do the final project, which is this application. This is just the final project. Everything else is the basics to build that kind of application. And then we have a bonus in which we upload the application to the App Store and Play Store. And well, guys, if you are interested, go to codewithbeto.dev. We also have premium resources and free resources for everyone. Okay, and now that is out of the way, and we know what we're going to be doing in this video, let's actually start. Okay, guys, so before we start creating the project, I want to say that we're going to be using React Navigation, as you can see here. React Navigation is basically a package or library that we can use to integrate all the stacks, tabs, drivers, modal screens in our application. So if you want to learn more about React Navigation, I would recommend that you go to the official documentation. And just to mention, like I mentioned before, I talked a little bit about Export Router. Export Router, it's a new navigation method that we can use with Expo. And you can check it out as well if you are curious. And if you are already familiar with React navigation, I would encourage you that you go to that you check Explorer. I'm going to create a video in the future, but if you are a beginner, I would highly recommend that you use React navigation because Explorer it's built on top of React navigation. So if you don't know React navigation, you're gonna have a hard time understanding Explorer. Okay. Now that's all I wanted to mention. Now I'm going to close this. I don't think I'm gonna need it for now. And let's actually start by creating the project that we're gonna be doing. So I'm gonna navigate to my desktop folder. Then inside this folder, I'm going to start by creating a new Expo project. So I'm gonna say Expo, create Expo app, NVX of course. And this is going to ask us what name do you want to name? What name is your app? So I'm gonna name it Navigation Tutorial and hit enter. This is going to initialize the project. And while this is being done, we're going to need to wait a little bit. Okay guys, and the project is ready as you can see here. Now I'm going to access the navigation tutorial folder and then open this on Visual Studio Code by running the shortcut code. Okay guys, so here we have the project. And as you can see, we don't have too much, just an app.js file. And let's start by installing some dependencies that we're going to be using. Let me just copy them. I have them here. The first one is going to be, of course, React Navigation Native, which is the main package of React Navigation. Then we're going to need to install as well, because we are going to be using many kind of navigations. We're going to be using the tabs, the bottom tabs. These ones right here, the home screen, the notifications and settings, those are bottom tabs. Then we're going to be using stack. A stack screen, it's this one basically. When we open a screen on top of another screen, that's basically a stack of screens. So we're going to need React Navigation Native Stack. And then we're going to need the drawer. So for the drawer, we're going to need to install as well drawer, which is basically this. This is a drawer. Then we're going to be using as well some top tabs. And those top tabs are going to be these top tabs that we have here. So we need to install as well React Navigation Material Top Tabs and React Native Tab View. Okay. Then we're going to need as well React Native Page View. But this is going to be installed by Expo. So we're using npm now. I'm going to hit enter. And once that is done, we're going to have all those packages already and ready for us. And now while this is being installed, we're going to need as well some packages from Expo. So I'm going to clear the terminal. And we're going to need, as you can see here, and I'm going to use Expo install to install this dependency, which is going to be React Native Screens and React Native Safe Area Context. These are per dependencies that we need to install in order to navigation to function correctly in our application. We're going to need as well React Native Gesture Handler. So I'm going to paste it here. We are going to need as well Reanimated. Copy and paste here. And if you want to just copy these dependencies, they are going to be available at codeviveto.dev, so you don't have to write them manually. And then finally, we're going to need React Native Page Viewer. Okay, paste it here. And I think that's all we need for now. I'm going to hit enter. And now while this is being done, okay, that was quick. Okay, so I'm going to clear my terminal and exit for now, because now we need to make some modifications in the code in order to have these dependencies working correctly. The first thing that we need to do is go to the babel config file, and we need to add a plugin. And the plugin is going to be React Native Reanimated plugin, which is the one that we installed before. And let's go to the app again. Inside the app, we're going to need to import React Native Gesture Handler in order to have it working correctly. Okay, hit save. And I believe that's all we need for now. But I just remembered that because we want to be changing the scheme of the application, so we want to support dark mode, we need to go to the app.json. And here, as you can see, we have this user interface property style that is light by default. So I'm going to change this to be automatic and hit save. And once this is done, we can actually start by running the project. So let's say npx expo start. Okay, this is going to start the development server. And now here in my iPhone 14 Pro, I'm going to reload my application. So now I can go to my simulator and hit Command Control C and hit reload. Okay, and now this is going to reload this new application that we created here. And for now, I'm going to close my terminal. Okay, here we have our application. If we go to the app.js file, you're going to see that we have this text here. And the first thing that I want to do is actually set up or create some files or some screens, component screens. So let's go to the Explorer and create a components folder. As well, I'm going to create a navigation folder here. And this navigation is going to contain basically all the navigation that we're going to be dealing with in our application. So let's just create this navigation like this for now. And let's actually start by creating some navigation, right? So the first thing that we need to do is just import from React Navigation a React Navigation container. So I'm going to say from React Navigation native, which is the main package from navigation, we want to import a navigation container, okay? And that's it for now. I can just return this component. So let's name this component navigation, and actually I'm going to change this to be capital navigation like this. And now that we can export the full function, this navigation component, this is going to be basically the main container, right? So we can say here navigation container, and then we can put here something, right? Like we can put screens, okay? So let's actually start by create some screens. So let's go here again and create another folder called screens. And for these screens, they are going to be very basic screens. So I don't want to waste your time, guys. And I'm going to be copying and pasting some screens. But let's start by creating a very first screen, which is going to be called feed.js. And this is going to be just a simple component, very normal component called feed. And it's going to return for now. And we're going to return for now a view from React Native. And from React Native, just like that. And inside this view, we can have a text from React Native as well that says feed. Okay? Hit save. And now inside this navigation, we can actually put this feed screen imported like this. And if we go back to the app.js file, you're going to see that this is the entry point of our application. So we can specify that we want to enter in the navigation component, right? So we can delete this. Actually, let's leave the status bar for now. And well, I'm going to delete it, sorry. And let's just return here the navigation that we created, okay? We are importing the navigation here. And now we have one error. And this error, I believe, it's because we cannot find this navigation. And I'm getting this wrong because it's uppercase here. Cool. Now let's actually restart the server so we don't have that warning. Okay. And as you can see here, we can actually go to feed and see that we have some text here, but it's all the way up here. So what we can do here is just change this for a safe area view quickly from React Native. Copy this and paste it here. Oops. There we go, hit save. And now we can see the text. Okay, cool. Okay, so at this point, guys, we can actually start by creating the bottom tabs that we're going to be using. But before I do that, I want to create some components to hold the tweets, the dummy data that we're going to be showing. So I don't want to waste too much of your time, guys. So I'm going to just copy paste these two components. One of these is going to be a tweet, and the other one is going to be a tweet content. I'm going to show you what these components do in a moment. But for now, I'm going to close them. Now we're going to need data as well, right? So for that, I have here a folder called data, and I'm going to copy this folder here. And this folder is going to contain basically an array of tweets. And this array, I took it from an open source project. As you can see, we have many data, and we are not going to be using all of this data, just like 50 items. But yeah, just to show how this is going to look, this is we can use this. Okay, now let's actually start by creating the bottom tabs. So we're going to be managing all the navigation stuff inside this navigation file that we created. So if you remember at the beginning, we installed something from React Navigation, which is the bottom tabs. So if I write here bottom tabs, you're going to see that we have this React Navigation bottom tab package. And from here, we can import a create bottom tab navigator function. Basically, this is going to help us. This is going to help us to integrate the bottom tab. So now that we have that here, we can actually say here, this is going to be the tab bottom. So we can say here const tab, and tab is going to be equal to create bottom tab navigator. And now with this instance of the bottom tab, we can actually create a component which is going to basically contain the tab. So this component is going to be, I'm going to call it tab group. You can name it whatever you want. And if this is going to return a navigation container, which is going to contain the tabs that we want in our application. So I'm going to access to this tab variable that we created here. And if I press dots, we are going to see that we have this navigator. And then inside this navigator, we can actually put some screen. So I'm going to say tab screen. And this is a self-closing tag, and we can specify the name of the route and the component that we want to render for this screen. So the component that I want to render for this screen is going to be a feed. So let's go to the screens. We already have this feed screen, so we can simply say here feed. Feed. Okay, and the name of this screen is going to be feed as well. Hit save. And now let's actually go to the main container that we have down here, and instead of rendering just one screen, we can change this to render the tab group. Okay, and the tab group is going to look something like this. And if I hit save now, automatically we already have one tab here, which is feed. And if I duplicate this, we're going to have two tabs, but we got an error because they have the same name. So I'm going to name this to be feed2, and we can actually navigate from these two screens, but they have the same component, so this is nothing too complicated. Now, for now, let's actually start by creating some extra screens that we're going to need. And I already have some screens, so I'm going to delete this feed and drag and drop a folder that contains this feed. Okay. Now, this feed, I'm not going to dive into it too much right now, but basically it's just rendering with a flat list all the tweets. Okay. Now, I also have another notifications and settings, which is basically just a view with text, so nothing crazy. So you can create your own screens. And now I'm going to change this to be, if I go here, you're going to see that this is a export default feed. So I need to import it from inside the folder tab screens that we just created. Now I'm going to delete the feed number 2. And yeah, I'm getting an error because I'm trying to access an image that I have here. And this image is going to be Beto, which is basically an image of my avatar from Apple. And I'm using it to open the drawer. But yeah, so we have these two screens. Now, if I reload the application, you're going to see that we have at this point just one screen. If this works, of course. Okay, let me actually reload everything. Now, I just reloaded the application, guys, and as you can see here, we have all the data in this feed screen, and we have also this header here. And I'm going to teach you in a moment how we can do that. But yeah. Mainly what I want to do now is just close the feed and actually duplicate this, and we're going to be using here the home screen, the settings screen, and we have a settings screen here, so we're going to be using that one. And finally we have another notifications one, so this is going to be notifications. Let me open this file so we can auto import this like this. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to name this with the according name, so we don't get an error. And if I hit save now, you can see that we have these bottom tabs down here. Cool. And we can navigate through screens and all that. So everything is working great. I'm going to close my terminal for now. And what I want to do now is actually start customizing a little bit my bottom tab, because for now we don't have any icons or nothing. So the way that we can do that is actually using a web page that has basically a library that contains icons that we can use with Expo. So here, actually, if you want, like for example, a home screen, you can search home, and you are going to see all these screens and icons. And for now, I'm going to be using, let's say, this home from Iron Icons, so we can select it and copy the import, and then we can copy these components. So let's go up here, import this, then go back here, and we can actually start configuring this. So what we can do here is access the options inside the tab screen. And these options contain, for example, if I open another curly braces, we can say tab bar icon. And this icon is going to be a component, which can be basically the home screen that we have here. And if I go back, you're gonna see that we have this icon, just like that. Okay, so you can go to this page and check out all the icons that you can use. You can go back and yeah, pretty much a lot of icons. You can also filter them. This is a pretty nice website that I use all the time, so it's 100% recommended. But this is not like the right way to do this, or you can do this like this for each tab, but there's a better way to do this. We can actually access to the navigator, to the main navigator that contains all screens, and we can say screen options and specify these options here. So for example, here we can say header shown, false, for example, and as you can see, we are not going to see the header on any screen because these options are applying to all screens down here. So I'm going to delete this options that I have in my feed for now. And what we can do here is actually grab all the properties that comes with the tab navigator. So we can grab those like this. We can basically return a component that is going to look like this. And here we can destructure all the information and navigation that we have inside this tab. So we can access the route and the navigation. And well, we can use navigation as well if you want. But once that we have the route, we can do cool things like specify the tab bar icon that we just did before. We can select this property here, and then we can destructure all the properties that we are accessing and creating a arrow function. Like we can destructure all the properties like color, focus, and size. So these properties are getting for free. We are getting these properties for free from the tab navigator component. So we can know when the user is pressing or when an icon or a tab is focused. We can get the color and everything, right? So we can destructure this and use it. So I'm going to destructure the color, focus, and size. And now we can actually say what icon we can use or what icon we want to use on each screen or on each tab. And the way we do that is basically just having a simple validation. For example, let icon name. And now we can validate if the route.name is equal to, and here we can basically copy this like feed, paste it here. And if the root is feed, what we want to return is an icon name and the name of the icon that we're going to be using, right? In this case, it's going to be home. Now, if I hit save, you're going to see that we are not seeing anything. The reason is because we are not returning anything. So after this if statement, I'm going to have a return. Now, from iron icons, I'm going to say that the name that I want to use is going to be my icon name. And if I hit save now and apply as well size, I'm going to pass the size that we are getting from the properties, and finally the color as well. It's going to be equal to color. Let's see if this works. And if I hit save, we are not going to see anything because I'm not assigning the name here. Okay, there we go. So we have the feed, and if I don't select it, you're going to see that the color changes, and that is because it's not focused. Now, what I want to do here is change the icon whenever we are not focusing this screen. So we can access the focus state, and if it's focused, we're going to use that home icon. Otherwise, we want to use the home outline, which is another icon. And as you can see here, we have this icon. When we select it, we switch. Okay, that's a pretty cool thing to do. And we can do basically the same thing for each screen, just by adding some else if statements. Now we check here if the name of the route is equal to settings. We're going to be using settings when the tab is focused. Otherwise, we're going to be using a settings sharp. If I hit save now, we have now these icons. Now, I want the settings to be to the right. So what we can do is basically just move this line 29 down, hit save, and that's it. That was super easy. And there we have it, guys. This is how you can use these properties to specify how you want your navigation to be. Now, apart from that, we can do some cool thing. Though this is just the tab bar icon, I'm going to minimize that. We can actually access many options here. For example, tab bar. If you tap or if you type tab bar, you're going to see a large list of things that you can use here. But I want to change the active theme color to be the following color that I have here, which is basically Twitter blue, like this. Hit save, and of course you can change this for whatever you want. So for example, let's say red. Red. Hit save, and there we have it. Okay. So you can customize many things of this tab navigator, and you can learn more about this on the official documentation. Now I'm going to access another property, which is going to be inactive tab bar inactive theme color. It's the color that the tab is going to have when it's not active. So for example, you can change this as well. Let's say red, and it's going to be red, as you can see there. So let's leave it gray for now. And that's all I wanted to show you for the tab group. And that's pretty amazing. We can do all that with tabs. Now, let's pass to the next navigation section that I want to touch. And the navigation is going to be stack. Okay? Sometimes we want to navigate from, let's say, from a tweet to another screen. And we can use a stack navigator for that. Stack navigator basically is a stack of screens, so you can put a screen on top of another screen and then keep going, and then if you want to go back, you just pop the last screen and you pop the next one, and you can go back that way in the same order that you entered those strings. So let's use a stack navigator for that. And as you can guess by now, we are going to need to import from React Navigation native stack. Okay. Now inside these curly braces, I can say create stack navigator, native stack navigator, and it's going to be the exact same thing that we have here, guys. So for this, I'm going to create another variable. This is going to be home stack and equal to create native stack navigator. Okay, and we are going to do the exact same thing that we did before. So let's create a component, function component, and this is going to be called home stack, let's say group as well. Okay, and for now, let's return a home stack.navigator as well. And inside this navigator, we can now specify the screens that we want to have inside this stack, right? So we can have as many screens as we want. I'm going to say home stack.screen. And now we're going to need another screen. But I want this stack navigator to have access to the feed and then to have access to another screen that is going to basically just display what the tweet has, the tweet details, right? So let's create another screen. I'm going to go to my folder screens and create another folder called home stack, okay? So you can have a nice structure, right? So let's create a new file here. And for this file, the name of this file is going to be tweet details screen.js. Let's export just a simple function component called tweet details screen and return just a view for now. We can actually return a save area view from React Native. And then inside of this, we can return a text that says tweet details. And we need to implement this in a moment. So for now, I'm going to just leave it like that. Close this screen, and now we can say, for example, first of all, we want the feed. So let's use the feed here, and the name of this screen can be feed, and then we can duplicate this and use here the tweets that we just created. What's the name? I already forgot. Tweet details screen. Okay, so let's go here and use the tweet details screen. There we have it. And I like to place the name as the same as the component, so that's easier for you to refer to this name later. Now we can hit save, and now we can use actually this home stack group of screens inside of the tab group. And this is another cool thing that we can do with React Navigation, and is that we can nest navigators inside navigators, okay? In this case, instead of having this feed screen just like that inside this tab, here, and the driver is also compatible with Dark, so we are not gonna have any issues, and we can navigate from here, okay? So React Navigation, guys, it's very, very powerful if you know how to use it. Now let's see how this looks on Android if I change to dark theme. So it looks pretty nice, and the cool thing is that we can apply gestures like swipe. We can open the driver by swiping, or we can navigate just swiping. Same thing here. We got a little warning, you can just ignore it. But yeah, we can open the driver if I drag and drop from the side. Or and the reason why we lost the feed icon here, and the feed button, is because we are using now we are saying header shown, I believe. I don't know what we are doing at this point, but what I can do is just use my pressable component on the options that we have on the top tabs groups. Yeah, the top tabs group. So we can access these top tabs. Yeah, and we can say here options. Yeah, options. And inside this, we can set the header left. Header left, and header left is going to look like this. Now, I need to close this. Okay, hit save, and we're going to need navigation. Now, if you remember, I told you at the beginning that we can use navigation, just accessing it, because this top tabs group is inside the main navigator. So this top tabs group is inside this navigation container, which automatically passes the navigation. So we can put it like this as property. And now let's import the pressable from React Native and the image from React Native and hit save. Let's see if that works. Let's try to reload. Okay, and this is actually not working. I hope you catch this error, but we need to go to where my name is. It's inside here. So this is going to be the tab feed, and the tab is the header that we are seeing here. So inside options, we can actually paste this header left and hit save, and there we go. We have it again. Now let's try to see if this works again. Now this is going to break because navigation does not exist, and we can access navigation the same way that we did before. I can say here navigation and hit save. Let's see if this works. Yeah, we're using navigation from the container or from the navigation container. Okay, we are grabbing the property automatically, so we don't have to use a hook. Of course, you can use navigation hook to navigate, but yeah, we are opening the driver here with the method open driver. Cool. Now, the really amazing thing, guys, is that this is going to work on iOS, on Android, and at this point, we have pretty much a pretty solid application. But you can, well, at this point, you can change just the content of the screens, and you have a fully functional application. But let's say that you also want to add support for web. So you can simply open the terminal and press W, as you can see here. Now, this is going to give us an error because we are not ready yet to create a website. But if you want to create a website from this, you can simply copy this line of code that says an expo install React Native Web, React DOM, and web. Okay, so I think, I don't know if we need to install Webpack config, but I think we do. So let's stop the server and let's run these commands. Okay, hit enter. Let's wait a little bit until this is done. And as you can see here, guys, we have a warning that says that they didn't find anything for Webpack. So what I want to do is just copy until the @ and say npx expo install and expo Webpack config. Okay, let's wait a little bit until this is done. Okay, and now that's installed, guys, so we can start the server and ignore those warnings. And we can press now W, as you can see here. I'm going to press W, and we get this brand new browser that pops up, and the website, it's just working. This is pretty amazing, guys. And the cool thing about this is that if I change now my system to be dark, let's open my system settings. Well, I can just toggle from here. Okay, hit enter. This is going to work as well on web. Pretty crazy, huh? And we can access everything. We can open the drawer. We can navigate from the tabs, and we can do everything we want. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. I hope you like this video. I hope you learned something new. I'm gonna go back to light mode. Remember that if you want to really master navigation, if you want to really master React Native, go to codeWithBeto.dev. Check out the React Native course. Check out the premium resources. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. And that's it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.